Yeah, never easy going down to 10 men, is it, Owen? But regardless of that, did City lack that spark?
Not really. I think keeping a clean sheet, obviously the eyes are on the weekend and that huge fixture against Liverpool. Red card completely changed the game. They probably could have won the game anyway. But I think in the end, with all those variables that happen, sometimes you just got to say, keep a clean sheet, no injuries, and on to the next one.
OK, well, we will analyse it all very shortly. But first of all, let's bring you up to date with what's been going on elsewhere tonight. Well, this was happening at the same time. It was Maccabi Haifa against Juventus. And as you can see, Juventus have lost 2-0. You can see what it means to the Maccabi fans as well. Now, Juventus have it all to do because mathematically, they could still qualify for the knockout stages, but it is a tough ask. It looks as though Europa League football could be their home this season, but all credit to Maccabi Haifa. Look at what it means to those fans. That atmosphere was absolutely incredible, and a well-deserved 2-0 win for them. As for Chelsea, Graham Potter's men last week, they beat AC Milan by 3-0, and now they're at the San Siro tonight. Potter hoping that his team can build on that impressive performance last week and give themselves a chance to qualify for the knockout stages. And elsewhere, here is what you can look forward to. Plenty of action across Europe. I'd definitely watch out for Paris Saint-Germain against Benfica. It was a 1-1 draw in the reverse, and this time there is no Messi in the starting lineup because he's injured for PSG. So can Benfica take advantage? We'll have to wait and see. And of course, the other game in our group is Dortmund against Sevilla. Well, here is the story of the night. Riyad Mahrez, of course, stepped up to the mark. It was saved by Grabara, and that was one of many incidents that happened. We'll analyse it all after this. It was certainly a first half packed full of talking points. This was the first one of the night. That handball on Riyad Mahrez chalked off one of the best goals we've probably seen in the Champions League, and that was delivered by that man there, Rodri. So let's get his thoughts talking to Danny.
Rodri, a frustrating evening. What were your thoughts on your side's performance tonight?
Well, sometimes it's like this. You have to live these kind of games with a very early red card. Difficult for the team, but I think we fought until the end. I think we have chances. We scored a goal that disallowed us. Then we miss a penalty. And yeah, what I say is difficult when you are 10 against 11.
What were your thoughts on your goal that was disallowed?
Well, a bit frustrating, of course, because I think that no one realized what was happening. Then suddenly it's apparently a handball. I don't know if it's intention or not, honestly, in a fight. But it's what it is. We respect the decision. It's a mess, but then we have a penalty, we missed. Then the red card comes and it changed completely the game.
What were your thoughts on the red card? It seemed like the referee didn't even think it was a foul originally.
There's two options. If he thinks it's enough contact, the game has to go on. And if he thinks it's a contact, I don't know now the rules. Why is a red card? Maybe because because it's outside of the box, of course. Okay, yeah. So yeah, if it's a foul, it's a red card. I don't know. I didn't see the game, so the chance. So I don't know.
What's the overriding emotion at full time? Is it one of frustration, like a missed opportunity? You could have qualified this evening, the win.
Well, of course, we want to come here to win, but it's frustrating in the fact that we have one red card, but we fought until the end. It's one important point. We keep going. Let's see the other results, but of course we want to win. We didn't win, but looking of the way we play, the 10 against 11, we cannot be sad.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yeah, he said it there. It was a frustrating night for Manchester City, wasn't it? But it's not the end of the world because they've had such a good campaign up until this stage. They drew tonight, and actually, if Dortmund draw or beat Sevilla, Manchester City will still qualify for the knockout stages, and you can see their healthy lead at the top of that group and their goal difference as well. So it's not panic time for Manchester City by any means at all. It's just not the sort of performance we're used to seeing. How would you sum up Manchester City's night?
Probably frustrating. Having not scored and not won the game, you would say there we left them frustrating. But like Rodri said there, it's a fair result in regards to what happened, going down to 10 men.
For an hour, by the way.
Yeah, so well managed the game, conserved energy. Obviously, with fixtures coming in that are going to be more difficult than that, you would say. So, professional performance overall.
Did you expect them to do, though, a little bit better? I know they were down to 10 men, but for all the talent that they have in this team, did you still expect them to do better?
Well, they still have the ability to go and win the game, even though they're down to 10 men. And I think, yeah, we probably would have thought that it would create maybe more chances. They still had a penalty saved. You know, they had a goal chalked off, which was incredibly harsh. And they didn't concede a goal when they were down to 10 men. So there's lots of plus points. You know, we can't sit here and say you've got to press the panic button just yet.
Not just yet.
They're doing OK.
Do you think Copenhagen, though, were given a bit of a boost when they saw that team news with no Haaland in the starting 11?
Probably, yeah. They were probably happy, but in the end, I didn't think Man City played. I thought they played their normal game. Even when, thing is, the red card completely changed the game. Crouchy nailed it. You know, they had a goal disallowed, which should have been a goal. They had a penalty saved. I mean, in the end, they could have won 2 or 3. But I think when the red card happened, they just realised they just shut up shop, keep a clean sheet, no injuries, and get ready for the next one. They're going to finish top of the group. I think there's no question about that.
Absolutely. Well, let's have a look at the handball law, shall we, before we get into all of the incidents, because here's a quick reminder. So, handling the ball, it is an offence if a player deliberately touches the ball with their hand/arm, for example, moving the hand or arm towards the ball, or touches the ball with their hand or arm when it has made their body unnaturally bigger. So now we've been reminded of the rules. Do the decisions make any sense to you?
Send that to the refs.
Yeah.
They didn't get that memo. I mean, that's why...
Which one of these is deliberate, then?
None of them. That's why...
That's the debate, isn't it?
Well...
Or is it a debate, Owen?
Well, if you're talking about that there, I mean, you know, let's just say that the keeper there, he's had a fantastic couple of games, and he spots it straight away.
With a mask on.
He might be a ref.
He's the only man in the whole stadium who spots that. Incredible.
And he got a hand to it, yeah. Like, the keeper over the 2 legs would be an outstanding player for Copenhagen. But if you're going into that, this is what's frustrating is the ref's seeing it. So what actually is he looking at?
Is that an unnatural
understand.
position?
No.
No, he's got it by his side, Seema, and he brushes.
Is it deliberate, though?
No.
No. No. And also, no one's appealed for it, other than some eagle-eyed keeper. You know, it's just ridiculous. And he's taken away such a fantastic goal.
Oh, it was a stunning goal, wasn't it?
Honestly, it was one of the cleanest. When you hit a ball that clean, and we've been there, it's a beautiful thing. Even if it happens in training.
I haven't been there.
But it deserved a goal. I mean, it was... Rodri was over at the VAR screen trying to get them to...
Yeah, what
make sure they keep it.
Because it's his first Champions League goal.
It's one of the ones that you hit that it's numb. You don't feel
clean.
it.
Like Xabi Alonso, no, just clean.
So clean. And, yeah, I mean, he's robbed of it, really. I mean, no one would have complained afterwards if that had been given as a goal. And, we're robbed of a great Champions League goal.
OK, well, after that, Manchester City were awarded a penalty, and this was for a handball on Boylson. Now, did we have any questions about this one?
Yeah, I think in today's game, it's a penalty, but from a next defender's perspective, that is harsh because it's not an unnatural position for what he's trying to achieve to affect Akanji's momentum, which he does. There's contact. It's a contact sport. There has to be contact on the opponent, and to do that, your arms have to be raised at some point.
Sorry, think about if you two are against each other, and Crouchy's, I mean, let's be honest, he's pretty tall, aren't you, Crouchy?
Yeah.
Jolene would get his arms on you, wouldn't he? You know, so his arms are only there just as is an element of defending. So, in that sense, these guys know as defenders and centre forwards. I think it's harsh. I think he's just got his arms in a position because he's trying to defend somebody. And I just think they've...
And his arm was there way before the ball was even...
Yeah, he's not looking at that. Like, he's obviously got a run on him, and, you know, he's panicked. And if I'm a manager, I want my defender in that situation. You can't have his arms by his side and let him have a free header. Yeah. You've got to try and affect him. So at that point, when the ball does... His arm is in a natural position because he's getting an arm on the forward. Which
then tells us that it's not necessarily VAR or the referee that's getting it wrong. It's the rules that are wrong in the first place.
I think it's not even the rules, because there are occasions when an unnatural position leads to a handball.
But you want to see it in
context. That is a natural position in context to what he's trying to achieve. Like, that's where you need ex-players that have been in them situations to recognise he has to do that. There's no...
Try and explain to the refs what's happening.
Is that where we'd like to see VAR go? To have ex-players involved in some capacity?
I don't think they want us in there.
I don't think they do either,
chaos, won't we?
Would you want to be in there?
No.
Yeah, get a player.
Let's leave them to it.
So we can debate it.
OK, well, let's park those two incidents and talk about the third one. And Manchester City went down to 10 men for a whole hour. But, Owen, can we question this decision?
No, I feel for Sergio Gomez. He's been fantastic since he's been there. And he just got surprised maybe by the pace. He's wrong side, as Crouchy said at half-time. Pulls him down. That's an easy decision. Well, we thought it was. The referee didn't see it in real time. They had to go look at the monitor. But I think once you see that in Pep and everyone sees that, you realise that's a red card. I felt for him because Sergio Gomez, he's been great so far in the City shirt.
Yeah, it was his first senior red card as well.
Yeah, unfortunate to get sent off. I've been there a couple of times in regards to that, and it's never nice, but it's a learning curve. You get opportunities to look back at that and see where you could improve his position at the start.
Yeah, not ideal. And as you said, it's very, very difficult, isn't it, to come back from 10 men or to go and win a game when you're down to 10 men for that length of time.
Yeah, and no matter who you are, you know, Manchester City are one of the best teams we've seen, you know, on fire this season. And, I mean, it's proved it, you know, 11 v 10, obviously away from home in the Champions League. It was always going to be a tough ask.
OK, well, it's time for a break now, but plenty still to come from us here in the studio. We're going to hear from the Manchester City boss, Pep Guardiola, when we return from this break. We're back in a moment. Well, the story of the first half was all about VAR decisions. I'll tell you something, Rodri will be really disappointed that goal was chalked off for a handball on Riyad Mahrez. Mahrez did actually subsequently then have the chance to put City 1-0 up, but was denied by Grabara. And then City went down to 10 men. Sergio Gomez sent off for denying a goal-scoring opportunity. Let's hear from that man there, Pep Guardiola.
Pep, what were your thoughts on your side's performance this evening?
We started really well against the 11, 1 hour, 110. We resist. When we had the ball, we were clever. We didn't push much. Yeah, a good point. We are not mathematically, but we are almost qualified for the next round, and this is the main target.
First half had a lot of VAR decisions. What were your thoughts on
I didn't see it.
No?
No.
Did it seemed like you had a long chat with the fourth official after the disallowed goal. Was that about the goal? What was he saying to you? Was he explaining the decision?
No, but I didn't see it, about the hands, but I didn't see the actions on TV.
Obviously, going down to 10 men so early, I think 3 of your back four then had to move into different positions. Were you pleased with how quickly they adapted?
Yeah, really well. They are so good. When they are so good, they read the situation. Yeah, it was good.
And what's the overriding emotion? Is it one of maybe a missed opportunity? You could have tied up qualification mathematically this evening?
Yeah, we should lose the 2 games. Sevilla won the 2, and all the 3 games they have in hands, and beat us at home 5-0. So everything can happen in football, but not mathematically, but we are close. Now we have to go to Dortmund to try to secure the first position.
Obviously now, is it quite easy to get this out of your system and then look ahead to Liverpool on Sunday?
Now we travel back to Manchester immediately. Tomorrow is Generation Day off, and preparing Liverpool, of course, on Sunday.
Appreciate it.
And I think that's where we should start our chat now. Liverpool on Sunday. Does it change how you feel about the game with Man City not going into this game having won against Copenhagen?
No, I think City go into this game favourites. I think everyone will be aware of that due to the form of Liverpool, but also the way City are playing as well. Listen, it doesn't give them the divine right to win the game, but over the both teams' form, City go into this game favourites, and big favourites more than usual over the recent seasons.
Yeah, we're used to this. I guess some call it a rivalry, some call it a meeting of 2 of the best teams, but Liverpool haven't been at their best. So what do you expect from the game against Liverpool at the weekend?
Yeah, it's not quite, you know, the game of the last couple of seasons. Liverpool are suffering at the moment, and Man City seem to be flying. Obviously, adding Haaland to the mix as well, it does feel like it's one-sided this year. And of course, tonight we can't read too much into tonight for the game on the weekend. They've managed to rest, you know, 3 really key players in Bernardo Silva, Foden and Haaland. You know, they'll come back in fresh for the weekend. So you have to, of course, fancy City.
And that is key, isn't it? The fact that Pep has rested his key players, his usual starting 11 as such, including Haaland, which we would expect to see him start against Liverpool, of course.
Oh, definitely. Phil will play as well. Phil's been absolutely amazing. 13 points separate the 2 teams, team. It's amazing, really. For Liverpool, it's must win at this point, not just to really save their season in top 4. I think Jordan makes a good point. It's probably the biggest gap we've seen between the 2, you know, at this stage. The 2 best teams in Europe, really, we've had for the last couple of seasons. So it's a huge game for Liverpool to turn their season around. But if you look at City and the way they're playing, it's hard to look past them. You know, when they're firing, they're too good for everyone.
What will that dressing room be like right now from a Manchester City point of view? Because they are used to winning. I know they got the draw. We know why it kind of played out the way it did. But what do you think the mood will be like?
It'd be fine. As I said, it'd be disappointment because you didn't win, but they won't be dwelling on that result like they wouldn't have dwelled on or got carried away with a victory. Games are in isolation for Man City. You move on to the next one pretty quickly, regardless of the performance or the result. It's Liverpool game. The fixture over the last, 4 or 5 seasons takes care of itself, so no one's going to need any extra motivation. They're all going to be well rested and prepared for that game, and they'll know what to expect, especially at Anfield.
And you can see, actually, the fixtures that they have from now until the start of the World Cup. You just saw them on your screen just then. How much could the World Cup now affect City's momentum? Do you worry about that from a City perspective?
No.
You just don't, do you?
Not in the slightest. I really don't. Haaland's not going, number one. They have one of the best squads in the league, well, the best squad in the league. They've got players, I mean, they rested 3 players today, like key players, you would say. And it didn't look like it. I know, obviously, the result with the sending off, but if you look at it on paper, it's still such a strong
But also, sorry, Crouchy, in regards to that, City are not the only team or squad with players going to the World Cup. Everyone else has. So all the top 6 teams, so-called top 6 teams, will have players in the World Cup. So they've got the same amount of problems anyway.
What do you think it will be like for the players then, just in general? You know, we've not been in this position before where there's been a World Cup in the middle of a season.
Well, I'm sure for the World Cup players it's tough because, the fixture congestion. I'm sure for a guy like Haaland, imagine giving him a couple of weeks off to go get some sun. You're going to come back angry, probably score even more goals. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting, but...
Yeah, my thing is I don't worry about before the World Cup. And even during the World Cup, I think it's sort of a hangover after the World Cup. I think we might see some strange results, you know, after that. You know, because it's such a weird thing, and like the exertion mentally and physically for an international tournament like that, and then to come back and midway through a season and get back to where you left off is difficult.
Yeah, it is indeed. Well, I'm sure that conversation will continue from now until the end of the season. It's time for us to say goodbye. Thank you very much, gents, for your company. Thank you for yours. And it's not very often that City draw a blank. They did tonight, but they still could qualify for the knockout stages of the Champions League tonight. And we will see you tomorrow for more Champions League action.